Hello there.
What's up, everybody? And we're going to be talking about a very particular game today called Sonic 06. Oh. Oh no. Yeah, I'm gone. Nope, Nope, not touching it. Oh. Wait. Oh, it's the Project Osets. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so this is Project Osets, which is very different from the original game that actually is more competently made, and it's actually being made by a bunch of fans of the original game. It's actually a lot more fun to play through compared to the original. And if you didn't play the original game, I am so jealous of you because that was so bad. Wait, what are you talking about? What?
Once poor shamed someone in my chat, so he was like, "Oh, you're poor shaming people." Yeah, you're fucking right. I am poor shaming the poor pieces of shit
It's
that
Griffin.
literally sit
Yay.
there all day worrying about how other people spend their money instead of worrying about their own fucking lives.
What? Yeah, okay.
And that's the scary thing is too. We're not even talking about a lot of money. It's literally fucking $1,500, man. That is not a life-changing sum for any human being on this planet.
First off, Griffin, $1,500 is a lot of money, and it can do a lot. But we're not going to be talking about you today. We're going to be talking about something else. So I will leave it to this man.
And now for something completely different.
So, like I was saying, we're going to be talking about Sonic 06 today, at least the Project 06. And I have to say, I really like this build. It's a very amazing game. Well, at least the PC version is. The original, nope, don't even go touch to that. Well, at least if you can help it. But with this, it's actually a built from the ground up port, Sonic 06, with the Unity engine. And normally the Unity engine, it can be fine. For this particular project, it actually works very well. It can be very janky in places. You'll probably see that in a couple areas. But the game itself is actually enjoyable. I've played through the stages a lot of times. It's definitely a lot more fun than the original game. And I played the original a lot, unfortunately. And that was something that the Sega team couldn't really get off their chest for a long time, especially because it was about 16 years ago now when it originally released. I mean, it's Sonic 06. When do you think it came out? 2005? 2007? Nope, 2006. Hence why Sonic 06. So, what is different about this version compared to the original? Well, for one, it's actually being made by a competent group of people who know what they're doing. Yep, pretty much. It's being made by more competent people. If Sonic Team actually had not split up their team at the time for two different projects, it probably would have been about on this level, but you never know, especially with a product that's over a decade and a half old now. But the key differences are with how the controls feel, how the characters feel, and how these little differences make for a better overall product. What you're seeing right now is Sonic gameplay, and he definitely does not feel as janky as he did in the original release. In the original release, he felt like you were controlling a giant truck with no easy way to control things. Now, you could still do things without much of a problem, but the physics engine that they were using was all over the place. Like, Sonic would stick on surfaces for no reason at all, and the boost dash didn't do anything. He also felt a lot slower for some reason. The homing attack was yeesh, and these got really tweaked in the Project Osets. And it wasn't just Sonic; it was also other characters like Tails. You probably saw a little bit ago. Has a new move that was missing in the original release. The dummy ring bombs felt a lot better, and I don't know what else to really say. I'd say you go check this game out because of how easy it is to find. And it's being developed by fans. Fans are developing on such a tainted product because if you don't know the history of Sonic Osets, oh my goodness, it is tainted so bad. But I gotta say, it feels so much better to control Sonic. And then there's also Shadow, which you can play around with a lot of the time too. And you can also play Silver a little bit, at least in the Kingdom Valley stage. For now, it looks like Project 06 uses the at trial selection to play the levels. So, and currently Sonic has all its levels. Shadow has all his levels, I think. And Silver so far is only really playable as a sidekick or a pal. I don't know what they called it. Well, he did get a lot of improvements. He actually moves a lot quicker. His psychokinesis powers are actually a lot more fun to use. And they also added a lock-on feature to his moves, so you actually know where to aim with a lot of the objects you can pick up. Overall, much better. Is he going to be much better later on? I don't know. Hopefully he is. And then there is Shadow. Shadow is a little bit more combat oriented compared to Sonic. He's also not as fast, which isn't a bad thing. It can still be a good thing. Unless you're Silver in the original release. Oh my goodness. I'm getting flashbacks just thinking about it. But Shadow moves a lot faster than he used to. He doesn't feel as weighty. And it helps that the boost dash actually works in this iteration. In the original, it didn't really do anything. You also couldn't really gain a lot of speed with it, which you can in this. It keeps the momentum up a lot better. It also just helps that you can even alter some of these settings in Project 06 and make them a little bit different if you're feeling like it. There are a lot of different settings. And Shadow's overall moveset with his chaos powers are very different too. I haven't fiddled with all of his abilities yet, but from what I can tell, it makes him a lot faster with his homing attack being able to teleport between multiple enemies and just continue homing in on the next one if it's a one shot. And he seems to get a little bit stronger with each level of his meter you are able to accumulate. And that's kind of it. I haven't fiddled with all of it yet because there is a lot of differences between this release and the original. It's not even funny. And it's so fun to play. I love playing it so much. And that's what I'm talking about because I actually really like it. Especially compared to the original. Oh my goodness. Shadow also lets you play as Rouge, as a tag character as well. And Rouge controls a little differently too. She's about the same as she was in the original game, but she doesn't feel as weighty. She feels a little floatier, if that's a word. And yeah, she only pops up for maybe a little bit, but I had a lot more fun playing as her than the original. And Shadow also lets you play with vehicles like the motorbike. The motorbike's a lot more fun now, especially because it doesn't feel like you're driving a giant semi-truck that just keeps bouncing for no reason. It actually does have some weight to it. It does actually turn a lot more accurately. Its weapons are a lot more simple to use. And it's just really fun to play, even for small spurts of the moment. And Shadow also has multiple vehicles, like in the original, of course, and also in his solo title, Shadow the Hedgehog. Although they got expanded a bit more in this. Well, it expanded more in the original. In this one, they actually got improved and actually function as they should, and are actually enjoyable to use. And they also improved on Omega. And you don't play him very much in the original release, but he did not feel right in the original. I don't know what they were doing with all the characters. They made him either too weighty, too floaty, or just all kinds of jank. And Omega got a lot of the problems, and he got much more improvements in this. You can actually control him and not feel like you're fighting the game itself. And he's a little more fun to use, especially because he's much more combat-oriented character compared to Shadow and company. And he's just fun to play with, even if it's only for a little bit. And I gotta say, if you want a good Sonic game that isn't made by Sega, made by fans, and is being worked on a lot, I'd suggest checking out Project Osets. It's definitely something fun to play. And if the mere thought of playing a version of Sonic 06 kind of rubs you the wrong way, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But this is such a very well-crafted version of it that I can't help but want to entice anyone and everyone to give it a shot. And it's free, but there's also a lot of Sonic fan games out there that you could play. Off the top of my head, I could tell you Sonic GT, which uses a different physics engine that actually makes you feel like you're driving. Actually feels like you're gaining a lot of speed. Features multiple characters too. Then there's Sonic Omens, which is also a pretty well done game, but apparently the people behind it are kind of scummy. So yeah, that doesn't sit right with you. Maybe avoid that, but it's also a very competently made game. Although the voice acting is god awful. Yeah, it has acting in it. I don't know what was going on. But that's it. And that's mostly what I wanted to talk about today. And an aside with Griffin, I don't know much about him, but I hope he does. And this is just an isolated incident, and it doesn't continue to make more points to make a line and have it go somewhere and end up in a place that's not great. But that's it.